community in Edmonton, but
Nice.
yeah, I love it. I've loved the mountains. I always loved the mountains and I like snowboard. So to me, it was an easy move to just come to
No.
British Columbia.
Nice. Good for you. As you say, you like the mountains.
Hmm.
Hey, so dig this. I have cousins in Calgary
Okay, there you go.
that still don't have a machine. I've got a good dozen of them up there, and they're all machine free. So I'm working on those guys.
It's only
Yeah,
a matter of time, brother, before they have their machine.
No,
Yeah.
it is. It is. I just figure if we get enough cool Canadians on here, I'm going to tell them guys they're a day late and a dollar short. They better get with it.
Love it.
So yeah, don't let me interrupt the interview necessarily. I just getting in where I fit in. You know, you give me that freedom, and yeah, I wanted to get on here about 8:40, and just that blew up. So I finally got back here, and I'm back in the saddle.
Yeah, we're always happy to have you in here, buddy. You always bring great
No,
value.
you bet, you bet. So what golden nuggets is my man Dom bringing to the table?
Well, so far we've talked about the fact that as a young man, 20 years old, he took off and traveled the world for 2.5 years. You know, so
No.
hard. He was an adventurer. You know, that's the truth of the matter. Is most of us entrepreneurs, we're adventurers. We like to go do things like that. We like to go. You know, there was a time when I spent 60 to 70 days a year on the river, and that was one of the funnest periods of time of my life. And you know, so. Anyway, yeah, Dom's an entrepreneur. He got involved with Kangen Water because he was interested in the business. He's also somewhat interested in the water. But, you know, that brings me to my next question, Dom. You know, you got involved with it for the business side of things. And so normally in here, I like to know what your stories are as far as the water and what it did for your health. But I'd like to kind of change the direction a little bit just because of what you said and the reason why you got involved. Okay. And so I'd like you to share with people your story. You know, you got involved because you wanted the business and you wanted to travel the world. And so how's that worked out? You know, what's your story in that regard? How's it working out in that?
yeah. Well, it's definitely being a part of the community that I'm with has allowed me to grow like miles and leaps and bounds. I definitely wasn't. So after traveling, I kind of went through a depression because going from the novelty of traveling where you're experiencing new things and you have all that freedom, coming back to quote unquote, you know, normal life where I got to go to a job now and going to and from work and then not going anywhere after. And it was a hard transition. The first year was okay. It was really the second and third year that was tougher. And I started resenting my job. And so this was all before coming up to this opportunity. And when I realized that that I just wasn't happy and I had to make lifestyle changes, when I started this business and getting involved in the community, it really started allowing me to see life in a different way and kind of move past that depression. And now I'm much more confident in myself. You know, doing an interview like this is really no problem. Whereas 2, 3, 4 years ago, like I would be very shy and probably wouldn't have done it. Being able to share my knowledge, that's a big one. Confidently saying, you know, like talking about the fluoride and the chlorine. Again, like 2 years ago, I would have a harder time talking about that openly and with confidence. So, you know, the community for myself has given me so much of that. And as of the last 4 to 5 months, I've come into a passion of mine, which is videography and content creation. So I've been creating a lot of videos for clients within our community. So one, you know, I've created a couple of vlogs for the co-founder of Global Affiliate Zone. I've got another client who I've created, I guess, kind of like a mindset shift video, if you will, where it talks about the self-image and how your self-image, the way you view yourself and the relationship you have with yourself and you know, relationships in the world and how you view yourself in the world, those are all perceptions based on how you grew up. So the environment you grew up in from 0 to 8 essentially dictates who you are and who you see yourself as. And, you know, most entrepreneurs or a lot of people that are in the personal development space understand that you are the sum of the 5 people you hang around the most, right? That being said, when you're a child, it's even more so, where you're in what's called theta state from like 0 to 4, I think it is, or 0. Yeah, I think it's till 4. And theta state is just a very low level vibration where you're sucking in as much information from your environment. That's all you do. You're observing. And it's your ability to adapt to your environment so that you can survive.
Right.
And unfortunately, depending on that environment that you grew up in, it really can dictate, again, like I said, who you see yourself as. And you know, if you grew up in a poor environment where money is sparse and you know, it's a struggle to live, you might adopt the idea that life is a struggle. And so you carry out your entire life as such. You know, you kind of fulfill that prophecy of who you see yourself as, and maybe a poor person, or, you know, that you're not worthy of having money because you never had it in the past. So we assign meaning and justify those events that happen to us at a very early age, and those meanings and justifications we carry on into our adulthood, and that affects us on a deep level. And until you become aware of those ideas, beliefs, and actions that are driven by those ideas and beliefs, that's when you start breaking the cycles with that awareness. And so the video I created for that really explains a lot of it, kind of in depth. I mean, I don't want to say it's in depth, but it gives you a good understanding of how that works.
Right.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that like this community and this opportunity has just allowed me to discover more of myself and more of, you know, what I'm capable of, and has given me a safe space to do that in. Because again, going back to your environment, right? A lot of people may not have a safe enough environment for them to open up and see things from a new perspective. And when you're not in an environment that allows you to grow in such a way that you can explore safely those new perceptions. And so a part of my journey too is during that depression, a part of what drove my depression is I was going into all these conspiracy theories. So it's very easy, you know, I put myself in a negative environment. All I surrounded myself with, the information I was viewing and absorbing, is doom and gloom, ultimately.
Yeah.
And yeah, there may have been a lot of truth in some of these conspiracy theories. There's also a lot of them that are way out to lunch, and they take you for a run. But at the end of the day, it still was a lot of negative information, and my mindset just wasn't good. It wasn't healthy. And so now I understand a lot of that. I can see where I was and how it all kind of conspired and whatnot. But had I not hit that point, I probably wouldn't have looked at this community and opportunity in the same way that I did. And so, you know, through every struggle, there's a lesson and opportunity to grow stronger, bigger, and better. And so that's kind of where I'm at now, creating these videos. And I really want to inspire people to realize that your limitations or perceived limitations are self-imposed. 95% of what we do is based off our subconscious, which again has been pretty much programmed by the time we were 8 years old. or sorry, 80%. So 80% of what you do, the beliefs you have, who you think you are, is based off an 8-year-old version of yourself.
Yeah, you know, that's exactly the truth. And I have to say, I'm thankful that I was able to change from that direction. I know when I was, you know, who knows what I learned when I was younger. But when I was in junior high, I was a little hellion. I was on my way to prison. I was on my way to bad places. My three best friends all ended up in prison. My brother, he changed my life. It's kind of interesting too, because he's so dang stubborn. He won't even look at Kangen water. He needs it so bad, but he won't even look at it because he knows everything. And he's 10 years my senior. And he literally told me once that he knows everything there is to know about everything. And he wasn't joking. He wasn't being facetious. He wasn't like joking about something like that. It was the most insane thing that I've ever heard a person say. And coming from like my biggest hero in my life, the guy who literally changed the course of my life. He said, "You're coming to live with me. You need some discipline. You're a little hellion. And that's it. You're coming to live with me." And he moved me from one side of the valley to the other. You know, he completely changed the course and direction of my life. And, you know, it's really living proof that you can be in one place, and if you get switched over to another place, it can completely change your thought processes and everything else. And that's exactly what's happened with Kangen water for me as well, just like with you. I've ran into so much positivity, so much great stuff from just joining in with what I now call the Kong family. I had no idea what I was getting into. When I got in, I didn't want anything to do with the business at all. I was completely the opposite of you. I was interested in the product and the product only, and I didn't want anything to do with it. I had 3 other companies I was running at the time, and I didn't need another company.
Yeah.
You know, basically what happened is once I started drinking the water, I started realizing that I needed to find out why it was affecting me the way it was. And I started really digging into the water and the science, and you know, spending a couple of hours a day watching videos and reading books and just reading and learning about it. And once I finished doing that, I was like, oh my Lord, I have got to do this business. I have got to share this product with the world. I've got to. I can't not do this. And, you know, years ago, I was in that, you know, from the time I was 27 years old, that was when I had my first big paradigm shift, and I was into that conspiratorial doom and gloom for a long time as well. And, you know, the story behind that is really interesting, but that's for another time and another place. I want to still continue to talk about you. So you've been doing this business because you wanted to get involved with the business. And you said at the beginning that your goal was to be able to travel. And obviously, in order to travel the world, you got to make some money.
Yeah.
And, so what's happened with that? Has it been able to be that you want? You said you just got back from Aruba or something like that?
Yeah, so it hasn't actually. The business itself has not allowed me to travel and live that kind of life. However, I know why, and it's because I still had a lot of growing and realizing that I can't do things from a selfish place. And I wasn't confident enough in myself. I didn't have the belief that I could do the business. And so as a result, a lot of the actions and things that I did, you know, I kept myself busy, being busy and not really connecting with people. I wasn't allowing myself that deeper connection. And obviously, as a business owner and being in this kind of space, if you can't connect with people, then how are they going to trust you enough to actually follow you into business? Or, you know, so for myself, I wasn't at the place yet where I could successfully do that. Coming back from Aruba though, so this is going back to my passion in the last 4 or 5 months, where I'm actually doing more content creation and videography. So I was in Aruba actually with a client, and he wanted me to do videography and kind of document a little bit of his vacation and show people his lifestyle, because he's doing the online business. So he's leveraging his lifestyle to show people what's possible and how he's actually, quote unquote, made it. You know, he's successful in the business. And so I was his videographer, and he paid my way out and flew me out there, and I stayed with him. And he was actually visiting one of his downlines. So his downline, also very successful, took off for the winter. So he was traveling with his family for 6 months. So they spent 3 months in Roatan and 3 months in Aruba. So we went to visit him in Aruba for 2.5 weeks, and I was the videographer that tagged along. So the universe works in funny ways, and you know, until you get super crystal clear, and I'm talking crystal clear, descriptive as hell, as much as you can, you will get what you want. Because when I look back at the year that I've just experienced, I've gotten quite a bit of what I wanted. You know, I traveled a fair amount. It wasn't in the way that I truly wanted to go and immerse myself in other cultures. But I did travel to a lot of conferences, and, you know, I think I'd left the country like 5 times last year. So it's still a decent amount of traveling. But again, it wasn't the way that I wanted. And it's because I wasn't getting crystal clear. I just said I wanted to travel. Okay, I got it. And then same thing with wanting to, you know, travel. So now I got a paid trip, and that was through videography. So maybe not how I started initially, but the path that I started going down and the people I started connecting myself with led me to have different experiences, having contrast, learning what I don't want, what I want. And so now I'm doing a little more videography and editing. So I'm focusing more on that business at the moment. But I love what you guys are doing and talking more about the product. And that's definitely something that I'm looking at doing, and want to spread more of the product information. And the business can just be kind of like a side thing where it's not my main focus, but you know, it's still there. It's always an opportunity. It never goes away. You don't have to sell a certain amount to keep your status or anything like that, which is another great thing about the business side of things with, you know, the Kangen water.
Thank you, sweetie. So your videography that you were doing when you were down in Aruba, was that the person that you were doing that for, were they involved with the Kangen water business, or were they some of, okay, cool.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
That's always great to know. And that kind of gives people the idea that, you know, you can actually make some pretty tremendous money with this company.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Big
definitely
time.
a lot of people doing it. Now, I want to kind of shift gears a little bit and ask you, because I'm always interested in, you know, for me, like I said in the beginning, I didn't care about the business. I didn't want anything to do with it. And for those first 6 months, I didn't care about even the product at all. I thought it was a joke. And hang on one sec. Here's my sweetie, you guys. This is my better 99%, Tina.
Hello.
You, honey. Have a great day. Yeah, that's my better 99%. She's a sweetheart. She's worked at the local grocery store here for 29 years, and she's called in sick 3 times.
Wow.
9 years. It's pretty amazing. She's a pretty amazing person. But you know, when you hear me refer to my wives, that's them right there. But anyway, you know, I want to shift gears towards the product, and the reason I want to do that is because of the fact that I didn't care about the business, and I also didn't care about any of the facts or any of the figures or any of that crap. All I cared about, or what got me involved, was a story, a very powerful story from an incredibly beautiful angel who, you know, she put her story out and changed my life. And so, you know, how long have you been involved with Kangen water now?
2 years. Yeah.
2 years, pretty much about the same amount of time I have. So in the 2 years, you've probably been sharing the water out with a little bit, probably sold some machines and into some people's bodies. I'm curious, and then also for yourself, you've been drinking the water, I'm assuming. What's happened for you as far as your health? Have you had any kind of things that you didn't even realize were problems that now are not there anymore, or anything like that? You have to share that.
I personally haven't had like any tremendous changes. I would consider myself to be fairly healthy to begin with. You know, before getting the machine, I was drinking a lot of water and I do notice, however, when I don't drink the water now, I do see how dehydrated I can get. I was in Vegas, I think in November last year, and the whole time I was there, I was dehydrated. I couldn't drink enough water to save my life. It was kind of crazy. But I know people who've experienced massive health changes. One in particular that I can think of was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And he also, I think, was diagnosed with cancer. But anyways, started drinking the water, and within like 3 or 4 days was able to get rid of all of his Crohn's disease medication.
Wow.
Right? Like, it's insane. And so I don't know how much time he's been drinking the water now, but he drinks something like 7 or 8 liters of the water every day. But it allows him to not be on his medication, which is pretty incredible. And, you know, psoriasis, that's been helped with the shower machine, or the shower filter.
Anespa.
Anespa, yeah. I've heard lots of stories of people who have definitely benefited immensely from having the water in their life. But yeah, me personally, I haven't experienced anything.
And how old are you, Dom?
26 or 27, sorry.
27. So you're the same age as my son. You know, listen, I think it's right away. Did you got any college education? Did you take that route at all? Or did you just took off and got your boogie on experience-wise and got global with stuff?
Yeah.
No, dude, I think you're right on track. We're in a day of indoctrination, man. Go get that valueless degree that's going to cost you $100,000 over the course of your lifetime to pay off. Stay in debt the rest of your life, being a stooge for somebody else. At 26 or just, turn 27, you've got the world by the tail, my man. And I think your story is as compelling, if not more than anybody, just because you're not one of us. I don't know. I think I'd be a Gen Xer or baby boomers. I'm like 5 years after the baby boomers. But there's such a difference in approach, and there's the entrepreneurial spirit's really starting to thrive. And I absolutely love seeing any millennial, anybody in their 20s, even their early 30s, taking this direction or taking a direction of an entrepreneurial, direction. And it's amazing, man. I'm really proud of you for that. I think you're just weeding out a lot of nonsense. You don't have to play the man's game to figure out what in the world you want to get done with and get jiggy with, man. And it sounds like you're getting jiggy with it like Will Smith all day. Na, 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 na.
100%. And I agree. And a part of the bigger picture, I guess you could say, is the more people that actually get in business for themselves, becoming entrepreneurs, the whole system can kind of just fall apart, and it'll be an evolution in society where people take ownership of their lives, and that can be scary for a lot of people. Again, going back to self-identity, right, where you don't think you're capable of it, you don't think you're worthy of it, or like myself, there's no way in hell I thought I could run my business. And obviously there's been a lot of downs, there's been a lot of ups, but when you can go through that and realize, damn, like I'm capable of so much more that I allow myself to be, when you come to that realization, then the world is your oyster. It's pretty magical realization to come to. And I think a lot of people kind of need to go through some of those downs to experience it, and then ultimately realize, when you go through that and come out of it a bigger, better person, and when you have the support system around you to help you go through that as well, that's a big part of it. It's all a part of that evolution, a big evolution.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff. You're gonna change so many people's lives over the course of the rest of your life. I wish I would have known about this product when I was your age, when I was even younger. It was around. I just didn't know about it. It wasn't here in the U.S. at that time, but it was available, and I could have gotten it if I would have known. If I would have had the, back then I probably wouldn't have even been smart enough to take advantage of it in the first place. I would have been, water's water, whatever. I'm healthy. When you're young, you're healthy, and you really don't care about things like that. And a lot of the young people that are involved with this company, they get into the fact that they're healthy, and they don't care about that part of the equation, but the business side and being able to actually make some money. Hey, I can make some money. Hey, I'm in. And so that's pretty cool to have somebody come on the show who actually got involved for the purpose of making money. You're the first person that we've had come on the show that's been from that particular background, and that's why I had to start the show out with, hey, we got to find out what's going on with your business side of things. And it's pretty cool how you're doing the videography and utilizing that, because having that talent is going to help you immensely with this business as the time goes by. Because the truth of the matter is, we've got the microwave oven of 1967, baby, except it's actually good for you. And everybody's going to have these things as time goes by. And so I'm really excited to hear this question now, because this is my little surprise question that I never tell anybody. If they want to know what the questions are, I never tell them this one, because I don't want them to have a chance to prepare for it. But you're going to probably come at this question from a little bit different angle than everybody else has. And this is my question to you. You've got somebody that's curious, they're interested, they're maybe, I don't know, and you've got one thing, one opportunity. You only have a few seconds. You got one opportunity to say one thing to them that's gonna prompt them to go buy that flight suit, throw that baby on, and jump off that cliff and take a ride. What is it?
What's screaming at me right now is, what's your life worth? And when you understand the product, so obviously it takes time on their part to really research the water. For one, is it something you believe in? If not, then that's okay. Not everyone's going to believe in it, and whether they believe it in or not, it doesn't change the fact that it works. There's a lot of scientific evidence around it that shows that it improves a lot of people's health. Second, if you want to take opportunity in the business side of things, it's an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to change your life. And when you marry those two together, health and business, I mean, shit, it's like the golden nugget. It's your golden ticket. And it may not work right away, right? This is the thing with entrepreneurial endeavors, is that there's a lot of moving components, and there's a lot of things that you're going to have to learn. It's no different than riding a bike. You didn't know how to ride a bike at first, but over time, getting back on, every time you fall, you get better and better and better. And so that's more so for the business side of things, because I know for myself, I'm 2 years in, and I haven't seen the success that I thought I would have by now. But I can look back in the 2 years and see how much I've grown and how much my life has changed. And those small steps that I've taken in the last 2 years have changed the course of my life exponentially. There's no telling where I'm going to go now. Knowing what I know and having the people that I've had in my life and being connected to this community, like that is priceless. Regardless of what I've financially made or not made, or that doesn't matter in the small scheme of things. Looking at the bigger picture, I've gained way more confidence in myself. I've learned the tools to be able to literally rewrite my future, and I'm the creator of my life at this point. And so that's again, like, what is your life worth to you?
Yeah. Amen. Something that I think is interesting about what you just said is something that Sam Tran said 2 days ago when he was on the show live from Hawaii. He was living the life, you know, that you probably are looking for, that I'm looking for too, you know. But he's over there, and he said something that was so profound. He said, the Enagic motto is not change your water, change your change your water, change your job. It's change your water, change your life. It's such an incredible, that just hit me like a brick. I gotta write that down, you know. And you know, you surround yourself with people. You were in a situation where you were immersed in conspiracy theory and negativity, and then all of a sudden you change your water and it changes your life. You didn't change your water and change your job, it changed your water and changed your life. Why? Because you started surrounding yourself with nothing but positivity. And I'm telling you, buddy, the exact same thing happened to me. Exactly the same thing. 2 years ago, I was immersed in conspiracy theory. I used Facebook for nothing but politics. That's all everything, every day, every post was political this, political that, political garbage, you know, negativity, you know, pissed off at the world, kind of crap. And you know, the thing is the kind of responses, the kind of people that I was hanging around with, what you would see on my news feed, it was just full of a bunch of negative garbage that every single day I'd get up in a good mood, but then by the time the day was over, I was pissed off, angry about everything, you know. And by changing my water, it changed my life because I got into the mindset of positivity. And now if you go on my news feed, you see hardly anything that's politics anymore. There's still a few people that I'll listen to a few of the things they have to say, but I pretty much have moved on from that world, and it has indeed changed my life. It didn't change my job, it changed my life. And so that's some powerful stuff coming from a young fellow like you. And it's just so cool to see that kind of thing going on. And
I'd like to share a Wayne Dyer quote. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. So I'll say that again. Change the way you look at things, your perception, and the things you look at change. That's deeply rooted in the way our universe works. You know, I like to say you're a co-creator with God. Now, whether you believe in God or whatever, you know, there is a higher power, a divine intelligence, if you will. And when you start to align yourself with that power, that intelligence, and you know, mind, body, spirit aligns all the way through, you tell the mountain to move and it will move.
Yeah.
And that's just
that quote one more time.
Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. So and going into quantum physics, I mean, for anyone who's nerdy as I am and understands quantum physics, you know, when they did the double slit experiment, you know, looking at particles being, you know, solid particles. So the particle can either go through one slit or the other, and it's pretty rudimentary, like one or the other. And so ideally you would have either like two full straight lines behind it. So they had a sensor behind this slit, and they were measuring which slit the photon would go through. Well, when they initially did it, it wasn't two specific lines. It was a bunch of lines. And they're like, well, how is this possible? There's only two slits. How can there be a bunch of lines that these photons are deciding to go through? So they put cameras in front of the slit to see how this photon is deciding, like what's happening. How can it decide to be in multiple places instead of just one and two? And so when they put the cameras and reran the experiment, all of a sudden the results changed. It was no longer a bunch of slits. It was the one and the two, and that was it. And so basically what that proved is your perception, when you decide to look at something, when you shine light on it, they say it collapses the wave. So you can think of infinite possibilities in this universe. Everything is, was, and ever will be. And you as a human being, as a co-creator in your life, have the ability to choose what reality you want to experience. And so when you visualize and imagine and feel yourself in a certain experience and a certain life experience, that will ultimately come to you. When you have that conviction, going back to mind, body, spirit alignment, when you're visualizing and showing gratitude for that happening even before it actually happens, you'll end up drawing that to you. Then going back to law of attraction, I could talk hours on this stuff of electromagnetism and how your thoughts, you're putting out thoughts into the universe, and the energy that you're holding and that you're carrying while you're putting it out is what you're going to get back. So the thoughts are the electro part of the magnetic part, and the magnetic is your emotions that you're pulling back in. So if you're angry about something that you're thinking, you're going to get more of the things that, you're angry about, because like attracts like. There is no exclusion in this universe. Everything is inclusion. It's forever expanding. So when you're thinking of something that you don't want, you ultimately get that. There is no don't. There's no negative. It's a positive thing. So the more you think about what you do want, the chances of you getting it are much higher.
Yes. Amen. Man, that's so classic. I love hearing this from such a young dude like you. It's so freaking awesome. Hey, I wanted to take a real quick moment and acknowledge all the people that are on the live feed right now. Thomas Warden is on there, and Carol Hedinger, and Paul Nelson, and Ryan Bartholomew, and Patrice Byrne Bouchard, Shiloh, who do you, honey?
What up, Shiloh?
Saying how much they love you and how much they appreciate what you're doing, and just great stuff, And so, Cody Featherstone's on here, and everybody's just got a lot of love for you over on the other side, that you can't see right now, and I wanted you to be able to see that, and then now I would like to open things up for Sean and see if he's got anything that he'd like to ask you, whether there's anything that what you said has stimulated his brain cell like it has mine.
Well, I think it's funny what you said earlier, that you kind of retracted and changed it. But if you do change your water, you can change your dog. It's just a matter of changing your dog's health. I know you meant to say job and you corrected it, but I thought about that, and that's a very profound statement. If you change your water, you can change your dog. So I don't want to minimize that at any level of absolute profound perception.
Yeah, you can change.
No, everything you're saying, Dom, is what I wish we could just pipe into the heads of everybody on this planet. I mean, I think you're just ahead of time. You're not dragging around a lot of generational dysfunction. You're not carrying stuff, man. You are your own chain-free spirit and entity out there trying to make a difference in the world. And you found a beautiful vehicle to do that and wonderful people with which to do that. So, hats off to you. I mean, you just keep trucking on and doing what you got to do, man. You've got a great future ahead of you. I look forward to connecting with you at some level or other. I'm just up here in Montana, in Missoula, western Montana, so I'm not too far from you. No. I've had some good – I used to live out in Seattle, so those trips up to Vancouver and White River and all that, those were pretty fun. Yeah. But, just glad to have you. I love this kind of talk. There's not a lot of ego. There's not a lot of – it's just – I just like your demeanor, man. You've got a purpose and a mission-oriented focus, and, man, that becomes you really well. And I think that's a real good reflection of what people really need to understand about all this is we have something that the world needs. And, the best way to go about it is to surround ourselves with quantum physics loving nerds like yourself. And no, I love that though. I mean, I think at a different level too, and you know, it's crazy. You know, just the attraction, everything you're talking about, what you put out, you get back. I mean, it's just a simple mindset shift. It's just a simple adjustment, but we're so locked in on who the world has convinced us to think we are. Mm-hmm. And we have not really yet to ascertain that destiny which God had created us to fulfill. Mm-hmm. And I think you're a lot further along in that process at a young age than a lot of people, still holding on, trying to fight and just stay gridlocked with that doubt and that fear and that indoctrination that they're only worth this or that. You know, you said something right away. It was right, that whole, you know, what's your life worth to you? That's the best response I've heard on any of these interviews. With all due respect to the other great answers, that's as sincere and direct and, you know, hit you right in the face with the truth as you can find. And sometimes, you know, it's good. We need to get smacked up just to get our attention, you know. And you do it with love and compassion and grace. And no, you've got a good way about you, my man. And I'm anxious to see what shakes with you down the line with this endeavor and everything you're doing, you know. So I just wanted to tip my hat to you and applaud you for your vision and your purpose. Keep on keeping on. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Those trucker flaps. Yeah, no, you're a good kid. Those trucker flaps. Keep on keeping on, man. Yeah. With that sexy silhouette of that lady. Yeah, that'll be your profile picture. Keep on trucking. No, but that's it. Hey, no, you're a beautiful young man, and I'm proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep making people better. Keep bringing out the best in people and minimizing their fears and doubts and helping them see who they really are. That's the ultimate objective with this. And I think Magic is just a beautiful conduit, tool, resource for us to do that. Because you start getting people feeling better about themselves, they start reaching and thinking higher, and then the business side comes. You know, and the fact that you went the other way around shows that you were pretty grounded. You've got a real good foundational sense of who you are, and you're, like you said, you're already healthy, but you're just going to sustain and maintain that health as you get older. And I imagine you're probably going to look like that when you're, you know, 60 years old. You know. So, yeah, God bless you. Thanks for joining the show. Change your water, change your dog.
That's funny. You know you've arrived, buddy, when you can call yourself a nerd and laugh about it. You know, pretty classic.
Amen. Amen.
That's the thing.
Wisdom beyond your years.
Yeah. If you can't make fun of yourself, you really have no business making fun of other people. And
if you can't make fun of yourselves, you're going to get destroyed by other people.
Yeah. You know? That was the lesson I had to go through, right? So that was a part of the depression, if you will, where, again, like I just played victim. And when you play victim, you give your power away. So those were realizations I came to. And again, until you realize that the external world has nothing to do with your value, and, you know,
people's perceptions of you have nothing to do with your value.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. God, you're a sage, young fella. Sage.
For anyone out there who wants some like material to kind of look at, Dr. Joe Dispenza. 100%. I mean, a lot of his research has been, it comes from Psycho-Cybernetics. So that's another good book to read. It talks a lot about the self-image and self-identity, and how the guy who wrote it, Maxwell Maltz, who wrote Psycho-Cybernetics, is actually a plastic surgeon. And so he would change people's external looks, but no matter what he did, they still viewed themselves as that ugly person. And so, you know, even though externally everyone around them saw the change and could visually see it, that person still wouldn't accept it, because the image that they held of themselves was so strong that no matter what they did externally, it wouldn't change anything. And that's the internal work that I would encourage anyone who's watching this to start exploring and really work on, and realize that the things you experience in life are 100% a direct correlation to the thoughts and actions that you have taken. And that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, but every single thing that you've experienced in your life is 100% because of you.
Yes. Amen. You know, what you just said there about Dr. Dispenza,
yeah,
I think it's interesting to point out to people that Dr. Joe Dispenza, he was in a really bad accident and broke his back, and then I guess like 6 of his vertebrae were crushed or something like that,
yeah.
really bad. And the doctors all told him that he needed to have surgery and have his back all fused together and that kind of stuff. And he actually refused to go that route. And he ended up going the mind route. He ended up literally healing his back with his mind. And he wrote about it called You Are the Placebo. And I actually need to get that book and read that book, because I wholeheartedly believe it. And the only reason I know about Dr. Dispenza is because I changed my water and it changed my life. You know, there's so much of everything that I am now, 2 years later, I'm a completely different person than I was 2 years ago. And there's one reason for that. It's because I changed my water and it changed my life. And in doing that, what happened is I got myself surrounded. Like you said earlier, you're a direct reflection of the 5 people that you hang around the most. Well, I've become a direct reflection of the 50 people that I hang around the most. And they're all a bunch of positive, freaking got the world by the balls kind of people that are just rocking it and rolling it and positive, and there just isn't a single piece of room for any negativity anymore. It's just not there. And so, you know, I'm no different than other people, other than the fact that I've just always had an entrepreneurial mindset, and I've always hated working for other people. I don't want to build other people's empires. I want to build mine. And, you know, I want to build my legacy. And I just think it's so cool. And like Sean said, I'm just as proud as can be of you, man. I think it's just incredible. All you young kids, y'all just give me so much great hope for the future, to see young kids that are into this. And all my younger friends on Facebook and in my family and, you know, whatever, all the people that are around me that are in the younger time frame, I'm going to be making sure that they get the copy of this, they get the recording of this, and they listen in, because this is some powerful stuff for you youngins out there. You guys need to listen to this boy. He's got some good stuff to say. And, you know, with that said, one of my other big missions with this show is to bring people together. Okay, I say this all the time. Somebody might resonate with me. They might resonate with Sean. They might resonate with Roger or Corolla. They might resonate with you. The only way that they're going to be able to get in to do anything with you is if they know how to get a hold of you. And so, you know, you've got this videography thing. You're part of Con's Water. What I'd like you to do now, if you don't mind, it's up to you, whatever information you want to give out. But I would like you to share whatever you would like to share, whether that be your gas stuff, your videography thing, you know, whatever websites you have, whatever contact information that you have, so that as people listen to this, as the days, weeks, months, and years go by, that they go, wow, I've got to hook up with this dude. How do they get a hold of you?
Facebook's probably the easiest. So Dom Marcel Coulombe, you've tagged me in this post, so that's good. Other than that, I mean, my email, I don't have a website currently. I'm kind of rebranding, and I've been focusing a lot more on the videography side of things, but yeah, the messenger would be the easiest way. You can email me at dom.mcoulombe@gmail. So basically my name with my middle initial there. But yeah, those are the 2 easiest ways, and I look forward to connecting to anyone who wants to pick my brain.
Yeah, you know, for everybody out there, you know, if you need a good videographer, you need somebody that's that can do that kind of thing, you know, hook up with Dom. Go check out his stuff. I'd imagine that he's got a bunch of stuff on his Facebook page or somewhere.
Yeah,
you have like a Facebook business page that they can go see your.
Yeah, it's the same name. I named my Facebook page the same as my personal page. I haven't been as active lately. The company that's doing the online business is rebranding, and there's a lot of videos that need to get pumped up for the educational courses that are going to be implemented. So I got a big stack here. I got a nice 48 terabyte hard drive that I got to kind of start ripping through. So it's going to be a busy month, let's say.
Yeah, well, I love that because, you know, there's going to be people that are going to be watching this and they're like, I don't want to hook up with those old farts. I want to hook up with this young cat. Yeah, this kid's right there where I am. I want to go learn what he did. And so I just think that's fantastic. And I wanted to, at this point, because you've given that information and we're getting close to wrapping this up. We've been here for a little over an hour. And we've got Roger and Corolla in here. And they, you know, Roger, Corolla, do either of you two have any questions or anything you'd like to throw at Dom? And if you do, you need to turn your screens on so we can see your smiling mugs. And there you are. There you are, you handsome devil. You got anything to say to Dom?
No, I would say it's great knowledge what he gave out. I met him in Edmonton at the JGL event, so he's a good guy, and I would recommend to connect to him. I'm doing that not enough, but I'm also a very busy guy driving trucks, so that's one back step for me. So
awesome. Well, I'm glad to have you in here, Roger. And
thank you.
How about you, Corolla? You have anything you have to add? Come on, you sweet little angel. Where are you there?
She is at work. I don't know if she will come on or not.
Okay. Yeah, she's at work. Listening in. Okay. Yeah, no worries. Have a fun day at work, honey. Do good.
I'll throw in my Instagram in there as well.
Yeah, good idea.
It's dom.coulombe. So again, just my name essentially.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Well, when this gets shared out and everything, I'm going to make sure to tag you and everything as I share it so that everybody can know how to get a hold of you. Because like I said, once again, my goal is to share stories. It's to share the magic of this company, but it's also to interconnect and try to help people with an avenue to be able to connect with like-minded people. Because as I've said multiple times here, I don't care where people get their machine from. I just care that they get it.
Totally.
That's the important part. They need to get this machine. They don't need to change their water so they can change their job. They need to change their water so they can change their life.
Yeah.
And that's what this is really all about. It is incredibly life-changing. And you can change your dog's life. You can change your cat's life. You can change your horses and your birds and your chickens and your bunnies' lives too. And I'm living proof of that, you guys. And
right
so,
on.
yeah, Dom, what a great interview this has been. It's been a wonderful thing getting to meet you. I can't wait till I get a chance to actually meet you in person.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious. Are you going to be going to Vegas this year? And I think it's in the latter part of October this year down there in Vegas for the event down there, the Magic event there in Vegas. Are you going to be going down to that again this year?
Unfortunately, I won't be. But yeah. Hopefully they got one coming to Canada at some point. That would be good.
Yeah, I'm going to be going to that. This will be the third year in a row that I've gone to that because it's not very far away from me. It's only a 6-hour drive to drive down to Vegas. And
yeah, it's not bad.
So I got a friend that lives there, and so it's a great place to go. And
yeah, definitely.
Love getting together with the Kong family and meeting people, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm sure at some point in time we're going to be able to hook up and get a chance to get a real hug. just the verbal hug that I'm always giving her out, you know.
Yeah.
To those who are out there just wondering what the heck he's talking about, that HooDeeHoooo that you're always seeing, that's my verbal hug. That's giving a hug, baby. And that's what we're trying to do around here at the Kong Family Show. And we sure appreciate the people like yourself that come in here. And this has been it's been a different kind of episode. Like I say, most of them were talking about product and product only and health stories and that kind of stuff. And so it's kind of unique to get someone who comes in here and talks from the business side of things. And, you know, as time goes by, we're going to be changing that up a little bit. We're going to be having episodes where we're talking more about the business. But it is a tremendous business, and it truly is a life changer. And young guys like you just really warmed my heart. I'm so glad that you reached out so that we could hook up and get you on the show. And look forward to having you back on again as time goes by. When you know, if you have any great things that you'd like to share down the road that you think would be appropriate to be here, that you'd like to share out so we can get it shared out with everybody, then you just let me know and we'll jump you in, get you in here again.
Yeah, for sure.
It's always going to be fun to watch your progress and watch things going on and, you know, get the chance. That's one of the things that's so cool about this Zoom format and being able to hook up with people that are all over the world.
Yeah, definitely.
And
it's really cool.
Just an incredible blessing for all of us. And so, you know, with that, thank you so much. Sean, do you have any final thing you'd like to add?
No. Thanks. Thank you for having me on. Anyway, I just wanted to interject there.
Nice. No, glad to have you, bud. You're on the right path. Fire every life preserver you can to people out there drowning in their JOBs, man. Drowning in their stagnation of life, and just help open anybody you can. That's the gift that you seem to have been given, man, and you seem pretty passionate about it. So Godspeed in your endeavors until we dial in on the real trip. God bless you, bud.
Amen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Roger, giddy up, big fella. I got a boogie. You guys stay righteous. Thanks, JJ. You do a fantastic job, as always, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Love you, man.
Love you guys so much. And, you know, we are the Kong family. We've got this really simple goal. We just want to change the world, and that's exactly what we're doing. And we want to thank you guys so much for jumping in here and being part of the show today. And, of course, always got to end. Don't forget your hugs, kids. HooDeeHoooo! Love you guys so much. And
thanks, everyone.
Have yourselves an awesome day. And
you too.
We'll see you guys on the next go-round. Be well out there. Healthy regards, kids. Bye for now.
HooDeeHoooo!